Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to create these beautiful faux marble furniture and do it on the cheap. This is the second video in the series of DIYs that I will be doing. All of the DIY projects will lead to a colossal dorm room decorating video. I can't wait for it all to come together and to show you. Let's get started. Let's go through the materials. Obviously, you're going to need some furniture. I would look at Goodwill, Savers, or a thrift shop if you're going to buy anything. I got these two pieces for an amazing deal because they were already cheap and the store was having a furniture discount the day I bought them. I love the silver feet and the handles on the tan one, and how sturdy the drawers are. The dark brown one is a little more beat up on the legs, but I will show you later how to fix that. Some other materials you may need include a type of spray paint. I used a metallic silver from the Krylon brand. Next, you will need an electric sander. You could get away with using just sandpaper, however, using an electric sander greatly speeds up the process. And last, you'll need some type of laminate you want to cover the furniture. I had looked up marble laminate online and found it outrageously priced for such small quantities. No deal. I actually found this laminate at Lowe's for about $6 and you get 16 feet. Deal. Now that you have the materials, let's get started. Start by removing the handles. You will likely need a screwdriver. Make sure you put the screws in a safe place after removing them if you plan on using those handles when the project is finished. Next, we are going to sand. I used a medium grain sandpaper, and like I said earlier, I'm using an electric sander to speed up the process. The reason we are sanding is to get rid of the glossy coating that most furniture has and to buff out any imperfections. This step allows the paint to go on nice. If your furniture doesn't have a glossy coating on top, you can skip this step. I did go through by hand to get into small spaces with just the sandpaper after. Here's an example of an area where you want to buff out the imperfections. You can see it is now smooth compared to all the bumps. Again, go back by hand to get into the small areas. Next up is to take a damp rag and wipe off all the dust. Then take a dry rag and wipe away any wet drops you may have left. Continue this process for the rest of the piece. Time to spray paint. Make sure you use long, even strokes when painting and that you cover all of the original piece. Switching over to my other stand, this one does not need to be sanded because it does not have a glossy layer. I originally planned on laminating all of the sides, but then thought it might be too much marble. So I went back off camera later and actually painted the two sides of the dresser a bright white. The only parts I decided to laminate were the two drawers and the top. I also painted the trim a silver because it would have been difficult to laminate or paint the tan part without getting some on the silver, so I just covered it all. It doesn't matter if you get paint on the drawers because you will be covering them with the laminate. Here's what the painted trim looks like. Next step is to measure trace paper to put on laminate. This will be your guide when cutting out the laminate. I used parchment paper and attached it to the top with packaging tape. Scotch tape would not stick to the parchment paper when I tried it, so you make sure you use a strong tape. Make sure you also tape it accurately and right next to the edge. Next, we are going to trace the shape of the top. I used a pencil and just carefully followed the edge. Here's what the completed trace looks like. Go ahead and cut on the line after you have finished tracing. Then lay and tape your trace cutout to the laminate. Make sure it won't move when you cut. Also, I would recommend not cutting right next to the trace paper but leaving a little gap. I actually had to cut a second piece of laminate for the top because I didn't have enough the first time. Now it is time to attach the laminate. You can see that we have extra on the sides here, but we will go back later and remove it. When attaching the laminate, you want to pull the backing slowly and in small increments. We actually smoothed with our hands. Some people use credit cards, but that can create bubbles and runs the risk of tearing the laminate. After it is attached, take a box cutter and remove the extra laminate. Now I'm going to show you how we did the drawers. Again, we cut extra laminate with enough to wrap around the sides. We then attached it like we did on top. Attaching laminate to a square or rectangle is way easier than odd shapes, so you shouldn't have trouble. Here's an example of cutting off the extra. I used scissors and a box cutter. Last step is to put the handles back on. Start on the inside of the drawer and push the screws lightly through. However, do not puncture the laminate from this side because you could end up tearing it in an ugly fashion. Find where the hole is for the screw and push it through on the laminated side of the drawer. Do this for all of the holes. Then bring the screw back inside the drawer and attach the handle. And you're done. Let's see what the final product looks like. I love it. As mentioned before, this video is part of a series of cheap DIYs that I will be posting. All the DIYs are leading to a dorm room decorating / tour video. Subscribe to keep up with my content and check out the description box for info on my social media. I also have a music channel where I post original songs. All of the info is in the description. I'm Olivia Farley. I'm a writer, producer, volunteer, entrepreneur, and adventurer. This is my sign off. Bye now.